second. Literally a hot second.
Right here.
Am I on?
You're on. Let's see.
What's going on? What's happening?
Okay. All right. Let's make sure that you're on. If you guys are watching out there on our Facebook channels, in the world, in the universe, on YouTube, just drop us a comment. Let us know that you guys are there. Right now, it looks like we are on the Tribe group. We're on Facebook fan page. We're on our YouTube channel. I think we're on my personal page. I got you linked up to a whole bunch of stuff, Caesar. A whole bunch of stuff.
Nice.
All right. Okay, we got a couple of loves. I'm starting to see some hearts, which means you guys hear us and see us. Just let us know. Drop a quick comment to let us know if you see us and you hear us. Yeah, we're super excited about kicking this off. Really excited about this, all the content. Hey, from Atlanta, we have Brenda. Hey, Brenda, how you doing, love? Do you have any drinks that are out there with you right now? I'm going to be going kind of in and out of this. I want to do an intro, let you guys know who Caesar is, let you know who I am. I am the creator of No Madness Travel Tribe and Audacity Fest, Evita Turquoise Robinson, also affectionately known as Evie, by so many of you. We're excited. Listen, everybody's in the house, right? This is just kind of what's happening right now. Everybody's in the house and we need things to do so that we don't go crazy. And for those of you who know me, know that Tribe is just like my baby, it's my community, it's how we come together. And so for those of you who aren't aware or aren't signed up for our newsletter list, we recently, thank you for the person who just gave me the shout out saying that we could hear you. We recently sent out a newsletter and posted up on our social channels about what you guys needed in this moment. And really the genesis of that was I saw all these companies that were coming out with all the directives on what they were doing. And I was just like, nobody's asking their consumers what they need, what they want to see, and how they want this stuff brought to them in this moment. And I think it's really important as not to be tone deaf with the fact that shit's a little bit crazy right now, right? Hey, I love this Facebook user. Hey, y'all, with all the drink icons. This is so funny. All the drink icons. Remus, hey, what's up, darling? Nice to see you. Giving you guys some love on the video. So with that being said, you guys spoke to us. And it was funny because of the 5 things that we gave you guys to talk about, travel conversations being one of them. What really stuck out for you guys was community connectedness and levity. Literally talk to me about anything else besides like COVID-19 coronavirus. Hey, Leslie. Leslie is one of our admins in No Madness. She's on here with like every freaking cocktail emoji on the planet in her comment right now. It's so cool. So cool. So yeah, so we are streaming on multiple platforms. Feel free to comment. Feel free to have questions. We're going to let Caesar do his thing and I'm going to introduce him. He is literally upstairs right now. Caesar and I live in the same building. This is one of my closest friends. Oh, we got somebody from Chicago. Uh-oh. Yeah, Caesar's got connections to Chi-Town. But Caesar is a longtime friend of mine. Gosh, I've known you for almost a decade now. I think it is. Like, it's been a long time. And he has had many lives, Army medic, model, all of these things, but he's also a mixologist. And he has worked with some of the biggest brand names in alcohol and spirits on the planet. And so when we realized that you guys wanted a virtual type happy hour, Belvedere, we got some Henny over there I'm seeing, definitely Belvy, all of this stuff. Hey, who else we got in here? We got Kimberly from Cali. Hey, Kimberly. Demetrius, I see you, boo. Love it, love it, love it. So yes, we got DC, we got Detroit metro area. Yes, I love it. I love it. Janice Alston. Oh, thank you so much, darling. I'm glad that you find it awesome. Listen, he has so much stuff to do. I am going to give a little bit of background here, and then I'm going to shut the hell up and let Caesar introduce himself and do what we brought him here to do, which was to school y'all. So a lot of you guys don't know this, and this is water with blackberries. I'm just like, tonight, I need to go for a run, and then I'm going to have my champagne bottle afterwards. Somebody says, greeting from Wakanda, a.k.a. Waldorf, Maryland. All right. We got Houston Tribe. We got Virginia, Jacksonville, Florida. How are you? So a lot of these, Chantel says, I see those juggling skills back there too. You good with your hands, Caesar? Is that what you're telling
Real
them? You're good with
nice.
your hands?
Nice. You don't want to know. I'm nice on it. Y'all don't want to know. Listen.
So listen, I used to be a bartender. Caesar, I think you know this. Do you know this? Maybe,
Did you?
maybe not.
In Japan, right?
So I used to be a yes, in Japan too, but a lot of people don't know this. I used to be a bartender. I was a bartender. I started in college, and I bartended at the spot called Carib in New Rochelle, New York. So I went to Iona College, and it was like a Caribbean club that was down the street, and I learned how to bartend there at a Caribbean nightclub. Then I bartended at the Apollo. I used to bartend at the Apollo, and then when I moved to Japan for a year, I bartended as well. And so I always say, especially for those of us that are travelers, right? If you want to know the underbelly of a place around the world, get a gig at like the international bar. Get a bartending gig. You will hear everybody's shit. Everybody's, okay? Everybody's. And so it's amazing. Somebody said we have a Facebook user that said, I only got Tito's, so let's make it happen.
Only got Tito's. Oh.
Jesse from Atlanta is in here. This is awesome. I love it. All right. So Caesar, introduce yourself to the people. Let us know what the deal is. I'm going to kind of bop in and out of here. I'm working the background here. So let us know.
Le bon temps. Roulette. What's going on, y'all? My name is Caesar Stovall. I am a man of many trades, as Evita so affectionately pointed out. I came to New York City a very, very, very long time ago. And if you don't know anything about New York, if you're not going to come here for a career, you got to learn how to hustle hard. So I started a modeling career by day, but you need money to sustain you throughout that at night. I ended up finding my way into this crazy underbelly world of like liquor, mixology, and all kinds of high-end mixer spirits types things. So I worked for Moet Hennessy for about 5 years as the regional mixologist of Metro New York. I ended up moving into being an account rep, a brand rep, and eventually moved into the spirits, the liquors, the wines, the whole umbrella of MH. That's including Hennessy, that's including the Moet brand. From there, I transitioned over into some other umbrella spirits, so my heart and soul is at MH. I currently am the manager, bar manager, and lead bartender at Duane Park Burlesque Supper Club. Because of this COVID-19 stuff, unfortunately, we're shut down. But if you ever come to New York City and you want something to do that is not going to be on the beaten path, that's going to be absolutely dope, you're going to have an incredible time. It's live music, live dance, incredible cocktails, incredible food, and something that you're going to be able to brag to your friends about that nobody knows about. Come through to Duane Park, but remember, you need a reservation. You cannot just pop up. You can't just drop my name at the door. They're gonna be like, okay, so like no space for you. So you got to make a reservation if you do come. When those flight prices start to drop, make your way to New York City, Duane Park, NYC. If I'm still there, reach out, let me know. First drinks on me, okay? So with that being said, I learned a lot about Hennessy. Like it's 40 different eau de vie inside this bottle. Like a lot of people know what a cognac is. It's like a brown, grape-based brandy kind of a spirit grown specifically in Cognac, France. But Hennessy VS is 40 different wines. VSOP, I believe, is around 70 or 75. XO is more than 100. So on and so forth. You can keep going further and further and further up, all the way up into the Imperial, the Parody, and the Ricard. But we're not going to go that far. What I decided to do is kind of, Evie reached out, said, hey, can you make some drinks for isolation? I said, yeah, sure. So I thought about isolation, right? I thought about it. What does it mean like when you're like trapped? And I started thinking about all my homes, everywhere that I've been that I've called home. And I have kind of put together some cocktails reflective of what home has been for me.
I love that.
In different places. Am I still up?
Yeah, you're still up. We're good.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, Chi-Town.
Chi-Town, stand up.
50th Lake Park area. I was supposed to go to Kenwood High School, ended up moving before that. But if you're into that region, I was in Hyde Park. So the first cocktail is called the Chi-Chi, affectionately spelled C-H-I-C-H-I. This is a Hennessy-based drink. It it envelops the South Side of Chicago. I love Hennessy. I love Chicago. I love the culture and the depth of it all. So I started with Hennessy, which is 40 different eau de vie. Again, you can pull all kinds of notes out of Hennessy by mixing it with different types of things. A lot of people
I don't know
do
how y'all drink Hennessy.
A lot of people do Hennessy rocks. Nobody drinks Henny.
No, I said I don't know how y'all drink Hennessy. It's so hard for me. This is why I'm excited about having a Henny that has other stuff in it, because I can't just drink it like y'all drink it. In the comments, if you're a Henny drinker, stand up. Just like put it in the comments. I'll give you your sign. I don't know how y'all do this.
Wait, put your hand up.
Put your hand up. We got some Chi-Town people in here too. I'm seeing it.
Right.
Brittany, Southside, 43rd and Berkeley, now in Atlanta. So.
Oh, there you go. So there you go. So Chicago is my home base. It's where I call home. It's where a lot of my family still is. It's when I think of home, I think of Chicago, and that's where we started. So I'm going to start out with Hennessy VS. Well, first I'm going to start out with some ice, crushed ice. I'm going to put some ice. I just got it out of the bag. I'm going to crush it up real quick. Let's give it a quick shake. And that makes a quick vacuum, but you see just how cold that got that quickly. Just that quick. And that's good. You're gonna start with a rocks glass and some crushed ice. Then you're gonna do a count of Hennessy, right? A count. Now that's a 4 count, right? A 4 count of Henny will get the job done. Leave it at 4, okay? People be like kind of levity with Hennessy. Hennessy is a strong spirit, 40% alcohol by volume. It's pretty strong. What I actually have here is passion fruit nectar. Now you can get this from the grocery store. You can also sub it with some things like mango or other types of similar fruits to passion fruit. I am partial to passion fruit because I'm so passionate about Chicago. Okay. So
really? Did you really just do that? No, we're gonna stop for a second. Did you really just do that? Because I'm so passionate about Chi-Town. All right.
Yo, we have come on. People, this is mixology. Come on.
So listen, so we've had some people giving us their Henny stuff. So we have one user who says, I hated Henny until I had a mixologist make some cocktails out of it. Shout out to the Henny bar at Kithkin and DC. Somebody else put, I hated Henny. Yeah, DC has it. I think I just put the same one up there twice. Inglewood, Chi-Town, Southside. We got a lot of people from Chi-Town in here, dude. And we got a couple people that you have to listen. Jessica Wade she said Henny is the worst. So listen, you got to prove it to us. Bring it out there. Say Henny can be adopted. It can be manipulated. It can be enhanced. It can be all of that stuff for the person who can't take it.
Hennessy is one of the most versatile. It's one of the most versatile in the world. When you're talking about what Hennessy can be versus what it is, like when you're talking about the story of every single minority. It's like what it is versus what it could be, right? Depending upon what kind of environment you put it in, depending upon how you mix it, depending upon the adventure you take Hennessy on, like it can go wherever you want it to go. It can be whatever you want it to be. A lot of people say Hennessy is terrible. You just ain't had it right. I'm gonna put a little more ice because I got a pretty big glass. But so far what we have is a 4 count of Hennessy in here and a 4 count of passion fruit nectar in here. And what I'm going to do is half that, a 2 count of brown sugar simple syrup. Now, brown sugar simple syrup, that's going to be that right there. The passion fruit has a very sour kind of undertone, right? Passion fruit is not a naturally sweet thing. If you cut it up into chunks and you blend it up and you make your own nectar, you add a little bit of water, you almost have to add some sugar because it's just not that sweet of a fruit. And Chicago's not that sweet of a town. Like, it's just not. So you got to add a little bit of brown sugar. Shout out to D'Angelo. And so what you got here is Hennessy, passion fruits, straight passion fruit nectar, and a little bit of brown sugar simple. I'm gonna give that a quick stir. Easy stir. You're not gonna shake it. You're not gonna try to get the ice or the water going for like a punch situation. What you are gonna do is you're gonna take a mint sprig, right, like this. You're gonna clap it in your hands. Make sure your hands are clean. I washed my hands right before we went on, but you're gonna clap it like this, right? As you clap it, you just release the mint oil in there, and you're gonna just drop that right in, right? Just gonna drop that fresh mint, clap mint right in there. We're gonna mix that up, and that's gonna add some freshness. Now, when you're talking about some of the freshest people in the world, you're talking about people from Chicago. So you've got passion, you've got freshness, you've got a little bit of sugar, but you've got complexity from Hennessy. And this, topped up with one mint sprig, is the Hennessy Chi-Chi, or Chi-Town. Drinks
That's
up.
so dope. Yeah, serves up. Drinks up. Okay, do me a favor. Run through just the ingredients, how much. Somebody was asking to just go through the count again really quickly. So just a review of each one as you finish. Go for it.
So when you're talking counts, you're talking a speed pour. There's kind of a situation here. This comes in a lot of bar kits, but this allows bartenders to count instead of having to measure everything out of a cup, right? So we have the big top here, which is 2 ounces. The bottom side is a 1 ounce. The top side is a 4 count. The bottom side is a 2 count. So 4 ounces, 4 count is 2 ounces. 1 ounce is 2 count. So every drink, every cocktail, I'm going to pour 2 specs, 2 standards. I'm not going to over pour. The heaviest pour any bartender in their right mind should be doing is a 4 count of a spirit. So Hennessy VS, 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, break, right? Then you're going to do the exact same amount with your either passion fruit or mango nectar, whatever you got. It's going to be the exact same amount. So 1 part Hennessy, 1 part nectar, okay? Then from there, you're going to do a half part of simple syrup. Now, I'm partial to brown sugar. I like brown sugar. It's got a lot more complexity to it, but regular simple syrup, which is what this is, equal parts water and sugar, just mix it up together. So white sugar, water, same amount, mix it up. You got simple syrup. I'm partial to brown sugar, but normal, regular, simple will work just as fine as well. So it's a 2 ounce, 2 ounce, 1 ounce.
Great. A question: can you make this drink with white Henny?
Henny white?
Mm-hmm.
You could, but you would have to adjust it for all those apple notes that Henny white has.
Okay.
So it's going to be more of a Barbadian, Bohemian cocktail than a Midwest, like down and dirty cocktail.
Got it. Somebody said you need a taste tester. Evita, go upstairs. We on quarantine, y'all. We on quarantine.
You know what, Evita, you ain't quarantined from these bubbles though.
I know. He knows what I like. I'm very simple, guys. I don't drink hard liquor. That's not my thing. I am a like white wine and bubbles person. I still have the bottle that we got from the store the other day. Yeah, that's my thing. Somebody else has a question too. It says, does the kind of Hennessy make a difference? For example, VSOP, XXO. Actually, I have a question. What do those letters and stuff, what do they actually mean for people who aren't well versed in them?
Okay. So yes, the type of Hennessy that you use is going to make a big difference. Okay. Hennessy VS stands for very special. Okay. VSOP stands for very special old pale. Okay. Right. PALE. XO stands for extra old. Right. It's very old. The youngest eau de vie in an XO bottle is 20 years. The next one up from there is Parody, Paradis, which is the French spelling of paradise. It tastes like a bouquet of flowers. Okay. There's Parody Imperial, which is the step up from that, which is extremely special. Comes in a crystal bottle that it's amazing. And then the final level of Hennessy that you're going to find in the store is Ricard. And Hennessy Ricard is 40 years old, minimum age. Over 400 different eau de vie, and it's described as having a conversation with the founder of Hennessy. Like Rich Hennessy himself, who founded Hennessy. If you were to sip that slowly at like Brandy Library down in Tribeca, it would feel like you were having a conversation back in 1820 with this dude as he's talking about this new company he wants to start called Hennessy. So,
okay, thank you. I appreciate the breakdown. All right. We can go, I guess, with the next one whenever you're ready.
Okay, next drink. Now this next one is a French 75. Now this is New York, but by way of Louisiana. So by the time I made it out of Chicago, I ended up moving down to Houston, and I was back and forth between New Orleans and Houston. So I developed a lot of twang. I developed a wonderful appreciation for the Gulf, what they so affectionately refer to themselves as the third coast, right? The Gulf of Mexico coast. And so I'm H-Town Don, right? I know how to ride slab. I used to have gold teeth. I used to have dreads. I used to be very much a part of this culture down in Houston. And when I went down to Louisiana, into the third ward and the fifth ward, I knew how to do all the dances. I knew how to speak the lingo. I knew where Juvenile and them stayed. Like it was very much an interesting switch from Chicago down to Texas, Louisiana. And so the French 75 is an ode to the French influence of New Orleans and some of Houston, but mostly New Orleans, into their culture, into their music, into their people, into all the things that they are. So the French 75 is going to start in an up glass, right? Now, you could do this in a champagne glass, right? If you have like a one of these joints, a tall, skinny one. I don't really like those because they don't let the nose develop the way that they're supposed to. But you know what I mean? It's up to you. The main spirit in the French 75 is going to be gin. Now, for all you Tito's people, you can also use Tito's. You can also use the vodka of choice. I like gin because it has a lot more stuff going on. It's got a lot more freshness to it. But if you don't like that, if you're not a gin person, tequila works. Vodka works just fine. I'm partial to Belvedere. It's very smooth, but I've got Tito's in house. I've also got Kettle One in house. So it is what it is. Now, the way that we're going to do the French 75 is we're not going to start with a heavy pour like the Henny drink, because the Henny drink, I'm already talkative. You see, I'm already getting kind of loose. This one, we're going to start with a 2 count. 1, 2. Now it's 1 ounce. Okay, don't go more than an ounce. You mess up the drink. 1 ounce goes into here, no problem. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take bubbles. This is Bel Air Gold, right? I like Moet, I like Chandon, I like bubbles, whichever kind of bubble you want. Don't ruin something like a Dom P or something like that with this, right? Dom P is just supposed to be what it is, right? Sometimes you have champagne that are just supposed to be champagne. But if you have some bubbles, some kind of like Blanc de Blanc, or some sort of California sparkling white or New York sparkling white or something like that you want to make this drink with, perfectly fine. So with the Bel Air, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour just like a regular 6 count, 4 count, 5 count, round in there. I'm just going to just do a little bit, right? So in this glass right now, what I currently have is gin and I have bubbles, white wine bubbles, okay? Now what I'm going to do is take just a little bit of lemon juice. My lemon juice. Organic lemon juice, not from concentrate. You do not want concentrated stuff. If I had the time, I would have probably squeezed the lemons myself, right? But this is good. This is from Whole Foods. It's organic, 100% lemon. But most importantly, it's not from concentrate. If you're pouring lemon juice from a squeeze bottle, you're wrong. No squeeze bottles. No real lemon, REALEMON, real lemon, whatever. Don't do that. Don't ruin this cocktail with that. That stuff is trash. It's not good. You're going to take just a little bit of lemon juice, okay? And I mean a little bit. That's it. A dash, sprinkle. That was like a 1 count. Not even a 1 count. There's just a little bit of lemon. It's going to open up those bubbles. Those bubbles are really going to start to mix in well with that lemon juice. And then you're going to take just a little bit of elderflower liqueur. Now, this is Paige's elderflower syrup. This is also Saint Germain, if you know what Saint Germain is, if you're about that life.
What is Saint Germain for those of us who don't know?
Saint Germain is elderflower liqueur. It's got a very, very fancy bottle. Okay. Looks like Transco towels or something like that. It's a really, really beautiful bottle. Saint Germain is sweet, but it's very floral and it's very complex. It's a French liqueur that is made specifically from elderflowers, not elderberry, but elderflower.
Got it.
The same amount of lemon juice that I put in here is the same amount of elderflower that I'm going to drop in there. Okay.
This may be good for your immune system. Seriously.
Yay. And then what I'm gonna do is take a lemon. Okay. Take a lemon real quick, and I'm gonna peel that lemon. Actually, I'm gonna zest it a little bit, put a little bit of lemon zest. If you have a zester, you can zest the lemon on top, and I'm gonna take a peel of lemon just to add to the nose, the lemon nose you're gonna get.
Everybody loves how much knowledge you have. Everybody loves it. Somebody actually did ask a question. Can you use Tanqueray for this drink?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Okay. Patricia, I think that was you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so this is what you have in a French 75. Again, I'm partial to elderflower liqueur, elderflower syrup. That's where this brown color comes from, right? If you had used, or had I used Saint Germain, which is very clear, very light, this would be a much lighter color. But again, I'm partial to brown things. I like brown things. I'm a brown thing. So this is what we have here. Cheers. French 75.
Cheers. So I think so far, that's the one that I would want to try out of all these.
Maybe this is a problem for you.
I know. I was about to say, you already know. Once I saw the bubbles and stuff in there, I was like, that's the one that you're gonna have to like make another one of those, leave it outside your door, and then like leave it outside your door, and I'll come upstairs and pick that shit up.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem for you.
All right. That's the one that I want. That's the one that I want.
What's funny about this is, like, I can taste the gin in this. If you were to use Tito's or a vodka, you wouldn't really be able to taste it.
Right.
Ladies, this is a sleeper. Gentlemen, if you're trying to slip, you're trying to get her to slip, this is the slipper. This is a slipper.
Listen, y'all better be look, we got the sex and coronavirus conversation next week. All right. So listen. Y'all better watch yourself. Y'all better watch yourself.
Okay. That's crazy. Any questions about the French 75? It is a classic cocktail.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
It's very classic. It's a very classy drink. It's something you can order at a very nice restaurant. I love when I see an order come in for a French 75. I usually do them super, super nice by adding or topping up with like pomegranate juice or something like that.
Right.
Just to color and some flair. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. We actually don't really have any questions on this one. We just have a bunch of people vouching for this drink. It seems like it's well known. Yeah, like it's well known. It's something that everybody is talking to. Leslie, I can't behave. She said, add that recipe to the sex chat. I cannot.
Wow.
This is awesome. A lot of people are taking notes, including people that are like, look, I'm not even into alcohol, but there's so much information that you're giving with this too, that it's amazing. So yeah, we're good. No real questions on that one. This one seems to be like a tried favorite.
So from Louisiana and Texas, I ended up joining the military, right? So when I went into the Army, I became an Army medic. I served out in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Then I went down to Fort Sam Houston in Texas. And then from there, I skirted over to North Carolina, back down to Georgia, back up to North Carolina, South Carolina. And a lot of my family lives in the regional Southeast, right? So the Southeast continental United States, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida area. This is where home number 3 is for me. One of my partners and a lot of my squad members, a lot of my battle buddies were all from the same area, where they were all from kind of the low country. And what would happen is they would, do college football, and they would be very like into their like guns and hunting and things like that. And there was a certain kind of rough and tumble toughness to it. But living in that area, living down in the Southeast also has a certain kind of, it's got a certain kind of magic. There's a certain kind of magic down there, especially in the Tennessee area, the North Georgia area, Kentucky, which is actually my matriarch. That's where they're from, Bath County, Kentucky. But down in the Southeast continental United States is where home number 3 is for me. And that's a place where I wouldn't mind being holed up because I'm so familiar with those roads, those back roads, up and down I-95, up and down I-77, 126, I-26, across the 10, across the 20. I'm very, very well versed in those areas. So this next drink is called the Honeybee. The Honeybee is a very simple drink. It's also a sleeper. This is for my bourbon drinkers. I discovered bourbon down there. I didn't really like bourbon until I got to New York City, where I could really understand bourbon. But bourbon is a corn-based distillate. It's made from corn, and what happens is the corn is maturated into alcohol, but it's made in American oak barrels. And American oak has a certain kind of tannin quality to it, a certain kind of spice to it that is not quite French oak, but it's American qualities, and the different types of weather patterns that are in that southeast make an amazing tasting American oak barrel that allows America to have a sort of monopoly on the bourbon market. No other place in the world can do corn with their wood and get something similar to a bourbon, right? Now, when you're talking about a rye, you're talking about a grain base that's not corn. It starts out as like a wheat or some sort of rye berry that turns into a rye liquor. But bourbon, rye, all American, Southeast, it is kind of the story, the bourbon trail, if you will, if anybody's ever been on that. It's kind of the story. So you've got Maker's Mark, you've got Jack Daniels, you've got Angel's Envy, you've got Pappy Van Winkle, you've got George Dickel. You've got a lot of these people that came down, started corn whiskey situations, turned them into bourbon, and really refined them into something special. And so the honeybee is my sort of ode to the Southeast continental United States, where I lived, worked, breathed, and developed into a man, really. And so the honeybee is sweet, it's strong, it's balanced, and that's what the people from the Southeast continental United States, that's what they are. They're sweet, balanced, and strong. So we're going to start out with Maker's Mark. Okay, Maker's Mark, I like it because it's got a nice vanilla note to it. I'm going to start out with a 2 ounce of Maker's Mark. Okay, this will be the equivalent of a 4 count. That's going to go into a shaker, right? We're not going to start out with the glass just yet. We're going to start off with the shaker because we're going to have to shake the shit out of this drink in order for it to make sense. I'm going to introduce you guys to a brand new ingredient here in just a second as well. Second thing we're going to have to add is, where's my lemon juice? That's the phrase of the day. Where's my lemon juice? Is lemon juice. Now, the lemon juice is going to be equal parts to the bourbon. So we're also going to do 2 ounces of lemon juice. Okay. After we do the 2 ounces of lemon juice, we're going to do 1 ounce of what is called honey syrup. Now, honey syrup is just straight up regular honey, whatever kind of clover honey you want to use, whatever kind of honey you want to do. But to make honey syrup, it's literally 1 part honey, 1 part water, right? It's easy to do 1 part honey, 1 part water out of a container. I'm just going to do straight up honey because the water is going to come from the ice for me. But when you're doing this drink at home, do not hesitate to make honey syrup, which is literally equal parts honey and water. If you make too much, you can add it to your tea. You can use it however you want. But I'm going to do a 1 count of honey right now. And again, that's going to be mixed in with water because I'm going to shake the crap out of it. Now, here's the secret ingredient to the honeybee. The honeybee's secret ingredient is something called aqua faba. Okay, aqua faba is a very strange thing that somebody discovered in a mixology lab when they were trying to do a chickpea martini. Okay, one moment. Aqua faba originated in this can here, right? Okay. Garbanzo beans. These are chickpeas, garbanzo beans. Everybody's familiar with these, right? This is all Mediterranean cuisine, where it has no business at a bar. Nobody, you shouldn't have this at a bar. It's you see what I mean? It's garbanzo beans. Why would I have this at a bar? But weirdos in New York City like to use weird ingredients. So they tried the beans didn't work, and they thought, you know what would be strange to try? Let's try the juice. Garbanzo bean water juice. That sounds gross, but whatever, let's give it a shot. This literally is the water strained off that can. Okay, this is what it comes out at. Strained off that can. And what they discovered, which is really funny, this is about to be a 1 count, guy. Excuse me, 2 count. So it's 1 ounce of aqua faba. What they discovered when they did that is that this garbanzo bean water stuff, aqua faba, has the exact same kind of characteristic as an egg yolk, or excuse me, an egg white. And when you're doing a classic cocktail, it's very valuable to be able to do an egg white because an egg white gives you a really creamy and frothy mouthfeel. Now, I know this sounds gross, right? I know it sounds gross, but when you're doing a whiskey sour, right? And that's essentially what this is. It's a whiskey sour with honey and aquafaba instead of egg whites. But when you're doing a real live whiskey sour at a mixology bar, at a cocktail bar, they're going to use egg whites because when you shake it up, you're not going to taste the egg because it's got such a subtle flavor, but you're going to feel a little bit of smoothness, a little bit of silkiness on the tongue. And that's really, really nice. It's a really nice mouthfeel, really, really nice development. And it really helps with all the marrying of all the flavors and whatnot. So what I've got in the shaker right here is Maker's Mark. I've got lemon juice and I've got honey. Okay. What I'm going to top it with is ice. A lot of ice. And I've also got aquafaba in here as well. 1 ounce of aquafaba, 1 ounce of honey, 2 ounces of lemon, 2 ounces of bourbon. And I'm about to shake this until I get an ounce of water out of it to balance out that honey to make it honey syrup. Okay. So, questions? Go.
You got people's attention. Some people are like, I don't know, this sounds a bit exotic for me. Yeah.
What's up?
Nothing. I was saying there's some people who are just like, this is really, everybody thinks it's interesting. A lot of people are like, I'm gonna pass on this one, but some people are like, yo, like, give us the flavors, get weird with the flavors, go off. This one, I think people have to, they got to try to figure it out. This one isn't an easy sell.
This is one of the #1 cocktails I sell at Duane Park.
Wow. Okay. Noted.
So it's called at Duane Park, it's called the Bowery Honeybee. Because it's a little bit different. We do a little bit of a different situation, but long story short, this is the way the cocktail is going to look. I don't know if you can see it, but it comes out this way in a very kind of creamy, kind of milky kind of a thing. And there's no milk. There's no milk or anything in that. But understand that there's bubbles, tiny, tiny, tiny little bubbles in there. And what's going to happen is that's going to maturate and develop down. And what's going to happen is going to leave a nice thin layer of this aquafaba kind of a texture on the top, and that's what you're going to taste when you initially get it.
Nice.
I'm also going to add a dash of Angostura bitters. I like Angostura. Opens things up.
We have a couple questions. Can you buy this at any liquor store already pre-made or any grocery store pre-made or no?
This?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. You're not going to find much in anybody's pre-made.
Can you freeze aquafaba? Like, is that something that you can kind of just like literally take the liquid out of the garbanzo beans and just like store the liquid, freeze it until you want to come back and make the cocktail?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can do that. Mm-hmm. It stores very well. It keeps in the refrigerator for about 7 days. You can freeze it indefinitely.
Dope. We have some people that are saying this is dope. Plenty of mixologists use these ingredients in competitions. Oh, it's like that. Okay. All right. Got it. You're gonna have a whole bunch of people coming over to Duane Park when this quarantine is up, trying to see if this is like the truth or not. Okay.
It is the truth. I wish I could move the camera around and show you just how it looks on top. Like, I want you to get a nice,
it's frothy,
nice visual of that. I want you to taste it.
I cannot. Now we have a question. JMC says, if you don't have garbanzo beans, would an egg white work in this circumstance?
Absolutely. Egg white is the chosen ingredient. It carries a much better protein matrix than aquafaba, but for your vegans and for people that are just kind of, I don't deal with eggs like that, aquafaba is easy. Also, you can put aquafaba in a squeeze bottle. You can put it into like any kind of a container. It transfers a lot easier.
Okay.
It's easier to get than an egg white, because an egg white, you got to crack it, you got to strain it.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of work. So.
Facts. So somebody's doing this in real life and says, I can't believe how good this tastes. All right. You may listen, bruh. Do your thing. Listen. That's awesome. Janice Alston, like, there's a whole bunch of people like, I'm gonna take your word, sis. I'm gonna take your word.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, even there's some, so Kim Lewis, she's just like, good to know. I'm not a fan of chickpeas, but I want to try this. I think you've got some triers for sure.
Hey,
so,
that's it. That's all we need.
I love it.
That's all we need. And opening yourself up to really good cocktails. Opening yourself up to really, really good cocktails is always good. I know a lot of people show up to Duane Park and they're just kind of uninitiated. So I'll ask them questions. They'll be like, what's good? Like, what's good on the menu? And I'll go, everything's good on the menu. And they'll say, well, I don't drink like that. You say, well, what's the last cocktail you liked? And if they say something like, oh, I don't know, amaretto sour, all right, fine. And I'll make them that. I'll make them that from an amaretto sour. I'll add a little extra honey because they have a very sweet palate and they'll like that and they'll be knocking those back all night.
Well, that and it's sour. I mean, I used to get twisted in college off of amaretto sours, not knowing any better. In New Rochelle, used to get twisted off of amaretto sours, but I like sour things though. So here's a question that Monica Lewis threw out, and actually it kind of goes into that, especially for having like a really tart palate. People don't really know how to use bitters at home. So you kind of toss some bitters in at the end of it. So like, what is, if you could just speak to bitters a little bit and the best way to apply them in that drink and just in general, I think it would give people a good kind of like idea of how to use them.
So I'm like a bitter junkie. I don't know if you can see them up there. I'm going to go ahead and, Evie, if I can, I'm going to go ahead and put on the full spread.
Listen,
when I just have the infinity of bitters.
You guys don't understand, like the way that our cabinetry is set up in this building, there's like this like head space between like our cabinets and the ceiling. This man literally has like every alcohol, bitter, everything like surrounding a carousel of the top of his cabinets. Like it's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. It's very dramatic how bitter my situation.
This is ridiculous. We have somebody else that's in the comments that says Angostoras is my fave. So you've got some bitters lovers. How do y'all use these things?
So bitters is a fun thing. It's very fun. You can almost think of bitters like as liquid spice cabinet kind of thing. It's almost like a liquid allspice. You can do bitters in a lot of different things. If you're doing like a hard sauce, let's say you've got like a sauce that's got like a whiskey situation going on and you just want to add a little bit of something to it, right? You just give it a couple of dashes of bitters and bitters will open it up. Bitters will do what it's supposed to do. Like it'll make it do what it do. If you have like ice cream, even ice cream that you're making like from scratch, or if you're trying to do some sort of like fruit, kind of a frozen fruit like gelato situation, and you kind of want to just open it up because you've got like a mango vanilla situation going on, and the mango and the vanilla, you want them to just kind of, you know what I mean? Just kind of really clash and do something great. A dash of bitters will do it, like a dash of Angostura. So it's not just limited to cocktails. Cocktails love bitters, don't get me wrong. Whenever I do a gin and tonic for somebody, I always ask them if they want to do a dash of bitters, because sometimes they do. In London, as a matter of fact, and in the UK, they have a drink that's almost all like bitter lemonade. It's like lemonade and like bitters and like gin. And it's like a funny cocktail that they drink. I don't know why they would do it, but they want you to like this. Like they want you to go in with bitters, like at least 10 dashes. And it's like, I don't know why anybody would like that.
Wow. People are saying it's good in rum punch too.
What's that?
People are saying it's good in rum punch as well.
Oh yeah, it's a staple ingredient in rum punch. You have to have bitters for rum punch, otherwise you don't have rum punch. There's also a lot of different bottles that are strange, like Ricard and different things like Dolmens and vermouths and sweet vermouths and dry vermouths. And shout to that one person that's in the live chat right now that drinks absinthe. Right? There's always one. It's like absinthe is what they do. That's it. All these different types of things are herbaceous liqueurs, right? And what they do is they just kind of give a cocktail a direction. So I can do a vodka soda with absinthe around the glass, and I can do a vodka soda with dry vermouth around the glass, and you've got two totally different cocktails. right? They look exactly the same, but one tastes completely different than the other because of what the herbaceous liqueur will do to your nose and to your palate in taking you towards different directions with what is in that vodka. So yeah, that's
Right.
totally
Trent has a good question. Are all bitters the same flavor? Are they
no,
all cinnamon flavored or no?
no,
No. Okay.
we're nowhere near the same. Angostura and Peychaud's are the two like most popular bitters. Peychaud's you actually can't get at the grocery store. At a liquor store that's actually considered a grocery item. Peychaud's bitters, but Angostura is founded down in the Caribbean. Peychaud's is more Creole bitters, and so
Oh,
right. So you got Creole spices versus Caribbean spices, and it's like that's like asking me, a jerk chicken the same between like the islands and like Louisiana. It's like no, it's nowhere near the same. They're totally different.
right. Got it. Got it. Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. What do we have next?
So the next drink is going to be the ginger julep. So the ginger julep is when I went overseas, right? When I went overseas, I had to stay at a lot of different places, a lot of different army stations. I stayed in Germany. I was in North Carolina for a while. Then I deployed out to the Middle East. I came back, and then I went out to North Africa, came back from that, and then I kind of bounced around the United States for a while. So home was really in my backpack, right? Now, when I was backpacking through and I was doing this whole situation about all over the place, I had one thing that was consistent, right? There were always mountains, there were always deserts, there were always water, there was always nothing. There were trucks, there were planes, there were all kinds of different environments in which I lived, but I also always lived with the same people, right? My battle buddies never changed. The guys in my squad were always the guys in my squad. They very rarely, very seldomly changed. And so this is kind of an ode to them. If I was going to be holed up with somebody, those would be the guys that I would be holed up with because I've been holed up with those guys before. We've been in the same tent, in quarantine orders for 2 weeks at a time where we couldn't do anything except play Xbox and talk shit. And so this is kind of a mixture of a drink that is an ode to them and their cultures and everything that I learned about them. I had one guy who was from Brazil. Well, his family was from Brazil. He was from New York, but he was Brazilian. And his favorite drink was something called the caipirinha, right? So the ginger julep is a start with a base of a caipirinha. If you take a caipirinha, you add vodka, like one guy that I had in my squad from Virginia who loved vodka. You then turn the caipirinha into a capriosca, right? And so from there, the caipirinha, the capriosca, they're two very fresh drinks that have lime, sugar, ice, very simple, but very, very classic and legendary cocktail. And they work very well with different types of liqueur. But then you add in this mint and ginger situation. So in being deployed, one of my friends was a guy who was from the islands. His family's from the islands, and he loved ginger stuff. He would always drink ginger tea. He always thought ginger was just kind of like this root all, cure all kind of a situation. He loved ginger the way that a mother loves her child. And mint is something that I just like because it's fresh. So these are some ingredients that we have on hand. What I have here is cubed lime. So I just took a lime and I cubed it, right? I didn't bother cutting it in any kind of a funny shape or any kind of a situation, but you just want to cube a lime. Don't worry about peeling it. Don't worry about trying to juice it or do it in any kind of specific way. You just want cubed lime. You're going to add about a half a lime's worth of cubed limes into a rocks glass, right? Now you're going to do this in a rocks glass. What makes it a rocks glass is the thick, heavy bottom, right? Good for rocks, but you want a thick bottom on that glass. You're not going to want to do this in a regular glass or like something like this. You're not going to want to do it in this. This is not a good idea, right? No glass in the bottom, but a rocks glass with a thick, heavy bottom is what you're going to want because I'm about to muddle this. I'm about to take this thing and smash these limes up. Okay. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit of regular simple syrup. I'm not going to do the brown. I'm going to do a little bit of regular. And this is going to be 1 ounce of simple syrup. Again, simple syrup is just simply 1 part sugar, 1 part water. I'm going to pour that right on top. Some people like to do like sugar in the raw. Some people like to do ultra refined sugar, which is like white sugar put into a food processor and ground into like powder. Not the same as confectioners or powdered sugar. Don't confuse the two. Super refined sugar versus powdered sugar. Powdered sugar does not mix well into drinks. Super refined sugar mixes very well into drinks. But this is the first parts of the ingredients. What we're going to do is we're just going to smash that lime. We're going to smash up that simple syrup to make a sort of really strong limeade kind of a situation. Now, the reason why we're going to leave the peels on is because the peels have a very important quality. They have lime oil. The oil from the peel is going to mix in with that sugar and with that water and with that juice and give you a very, very fresh nose. This is why I'm not using like a lime wedge and juice per se, right? Because I want that peel, I want that lime peel, and I want to smash that lime peel up into this kind of a nice, wonderful, maturated situation. Now, this is the base. If you add cachaça to this and ice, then you get a caipirinha. If you add vodka to this and ice, you get a capriosca, right? But we're going to take it one step up. We're going to level it up real quick. We're going to add some mint, okay? Again, the mint that you use, drop some. But the mint that you use doesn't really matter if it's organic or not, doesn't matter. You're just going to take it, stem and all. Again, you're going to take it in your hand, you're going to clap it. You got to clap it nice. You can't clap, she knows. Gentlemen, she's going to be listening for that clap. That clap is aphrodisiac. I once had a woman slip me a number off a clap. I'm not kidding. She told me to make a drink. I was making something similar to this, and she flinched and she looked at me. She said, "Give me a napkin." I handed her a drink napkin. She wrote her name and a number. She said, "Call me." I never called her. Never called her. You don't trust women like that. But just know, she listening. If you got a weak clap, she ain't about that life. You just lost points. You don't even know you lost points.
You gotta have a strong clap.
You got the strong clap. Listen, she knows. When she's teeter-tottering like this, do I not? Is it Netflix and chill or is it Netflix and peace? She's gonna be thinking about that clap. She's gonna remember that clap. Don't listen. The clap is important. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some fresh ice. Okay, I'm gonna add some fresh ice to this here. I'm gonna put ice all the way up to the top. I'm not gonna spare the ice. You know why? Because I like a nice drink. You got fresh limes, fresh lime oil, simple syrup going on. Ice is only gonna add the essential ingredients, which is water, to get all this to get going. Okay, and I'm gonna do gin here. Now from here, you can go any direction you want. You can go tequila, you can go mezcal, you can go cachaça, you can go vodka, you can go gin, any kind of white liquor you want to add, you can go. Feel free. But I'm going to go with Bombay. Okay. And we're going to go with a responsible 2 ounce, which is a 4 count. Just going to pour that right on top. Okay. And we're going to take that, what's in that glass, which is a good measure, pour that back into our shaker. Shake that up. Give it a nice quick shake. Give it a nice mix up.
Nice.
Always good. You want to switch. You want to do this because the mint leaves are going to try to stick to the sides. You don't want that to happen. So you're going to do this a little bit. Cool. Beautiful. And what you're going to do is top that up with Q tonic or ginger, depending upon your palate. Okay, your palate determines whether you like tonic or ginger beer. Again, I told you the story about my friend who likes ginger. Reed's ginger beer is not ginger beer. Okay, let's just get this out the way. I know I'm about to make a lot of people mad with this. Reed's ginger beer is not ginger beer. You do not want Seagram's. You do not want Canada Dry. Nothing from anybody's Coca-Cola or Pepsi bottling plant. You don't want Reed's. You don't want any kind of ginger beer that is mostly sugar and a little bit of ginger. Okay, you want mostly ginger and a little bit of sugar. I already put the sugar in here. I don't need more sugar. Reed's is a crazy amount of sugar. Look at the nutrition facts. It's like 45 grams per serving. It's ridiculous, right? Fever Tree ginger beer, I love it. How many grams of sugar per serving? 8. How is it that Reed's has 45, the Fever Tree has 8? You're going to use a ginger beer with the least amount of sugar you can find, most amount of ginger you can find. Fever Tree from Whole Foods is my go-to. If I don't have Fever Tree, I go with Q Ginger. Same brand that makes Q Tonic, right? But Q Ginger is what I do.
Where are they easily available? Like, can people readily get them at like a grocery store, or do they have to go to a liquor store? Where can they get these?
Whole Foods. Whole Foods has the Q and the Fever Tree. Any kind of organic grocery store, any kind of a fancy grocery store is going to have like upper level, higher level ginger beers, tonics, things like that in their sodas.
Got it.
So you just be able to find them in the soda section.
Okay.
Yeah. Justin's kind of does a ginger beer situation. It has like little pieces of ginger in it. It'll work. You know what I mean? But you want to stay away from Reed's, stay away from ginger ale, right? Anything in a plastic bottle, run the other direction. Don't use it. You'll ruin your cocktail.
Got it. Got it.
This is the ginger julep. Very green drink. You're going to garnish that with a lime wedge on the side of the glass. I don't know if you can see that, but that's going to be the garnish. And so it's bottoms up from here.
Bottoms up. It's crazy because I've been here with stuff. I got the damn bottle that you got me when we went out to go sourcing for this stuff. And now I feel like I'm about to open up some champagne and say, to hell with it.
Evie, before you open that up, remember this is open. So you can have the rest of
okay. All right, I'll keep this one. I'll keep it later. I'll keep it later. So again, recap of the ingredients for this one.
So this is the ginger julep. It starts off as a caipirinha or a capriosca. So it's cubed lime as a beginner. Okay, the lime is a fresh lime from wherever. It doesn't matter if it's organic or not. You're going to cut it up into cubes, like little cubed pieces. Cubes works best. You don't want to do wedges or anything like that. You're going to do cubes, right? Simple syrup, equal parts sugar and water. 1 part sugar, 1 part water. Doesn't matter what kind of container you use. You can put it in a coffee mug. You can do it in a mixing, whatever you want to do. Equal parts sugar and water. Then it is the white spirit of your choice. You're going to go with vodka, gin, tequila, white rum, whatever you choose, right? Doesn't really matter what kind of white spirit you use, as long as it's white. You don't want to do anything too complex. You don't want to do brown. You don't want to do like a scotch. You don't want to do Hennessy or anything really complex. Some dark rums will work in this. Some will. If you have something simple like a Sailor Jerry's or something like a Jose or something like that, or like a, you know what I mean, not a Malibu, a Bacardi. A Bacardi will work. But if you're doing something like a Gosling, some kind of like dark rum won't work here. Like a brown rum might work, but a dark one won't work because it's too much going on. But so anybody's white spirit will go well in this. Then you're gonna do clapped mint, a straight up mint sprig, fresh out the container. Good clap, all my gentlemen out there. Tear the mint up, tear it up into little pieces, put it into the shaker, fresh ice, shake it, swivel it around, pour it into the glass, and you're gonna top it up with ginger beer. Okay, if you're a sweeter palate, if you're more of a savory palate, you're gonna go with Q Tonic. Or honestly, if I was doing this for Evita, I would have topped it up with the champagne bubbles. I would have actually topped it up with champagne. But you want that spritz to kind of come in and do that. So, yeah, that's awesome. The
Awesome. And we have people that are asking where the recipes are. So if you are signed up to the No Madness newsletter, you already have the recipes. Well, at least you have the ingredients on what to do. So Caesar, what we'll do is we'll do a follow-up. We have the ingredients that you sent us, but maybe we'll do like a recipe type of situation for people who need like step-by-step directions, and we can like send that out. But you guys need to sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for the No Madness newsletter in order to get those so that we can send it out to you guys. Because everybody who got the newsletter knows that all of the ingredients are in there as well.
You know,
are you impressed with yourself? Are you entertained?
You know, it's kind of look at it. Look.
Right.
You know good. And I don't look at my drinks like that. But your foot,
right. Nice. Somebody said, how do you store the mint to keep it fresh and make it last longer?
Refrigerate it. You can also put it in water. Mint is a weed, believe it or not. It grows out of control. If you plant mint, straight up, if you just plant this in water, it will shoot a root in like 3 days. If you put that in anybody's dirt, any kind of dirt, it doesn't care. It will take over the entire thing. It'll choke out any other plant that's there because mint is crazy like that.
Right,
So
right.
what you're going to do is just kind of keep it in the container it comes in, basically, and keep it in the fridge. It'll store in the fridge, keep firm for 2 weeks at a time. If you want to do longer than that, you can put it in a jar of water, keep it in the fridge. We keep our mint at Duane Park. We literally pick our mint on Tuesday, and we keep a cover on it. Mint lasts all the way till Saturday, and I mean it's fresh. It's ready. It flourishes. It's really nice, and we keep it literally in a Ross glass like this. So
okay,
yeah,
awesome, good question. All right, next, what's the next drink that we have coming out?
Pomelo. I'm looking for my glassware. I'm trying to figure out what kind of glass I want to use for the Pomelo. I kind of want to do a mason jar, but I don't have any like normal size mason jars, which sucks. So I'm going to do the Pomelo and the stemless wine glass. Okay. Now the Pomelo is a very classic cocktail. It's something that originated in Mexico. This is a bit of a twist on the Pomelo. Okay, so I just washed out this real quick. I'm just going to dry it. It's a very classic twist on Mexico. And so when I got to New York, finally, right, I made it to the East Village. East Village didn't feel like home. I made it to Brooklyn, but it wasn't real Brooklyn. It was like Williamsburg, Brooklyn. That didn't feel like home. Then I made it into East Williamsburg, which felt a little more like home, but it started to get very, very Hispanic, right? And so from East Williamsburg, I moved into Brownsville, and then into Fort Greene, and then finally into Newark, where I reside now, Newark, New Jersey.
This is around the time that I met you.
Yes.
Brownsville. Okay.
Right. And this exact time is when I also became a Hennessy brand rep. And so what I found myself doing is I found myself in all these accounts. When you first start there, you find yourself in all these accounts that nobody wants. These accounts that are deep in Queens, deep in Long Island, Staten Island. Nobody in Manhattan wants to talk to you because they've already got their accounts, and they want you in charge of new accounts. And a lot of new accounts are Hispanic accounts. I pass for Dominican. I don't know why I pass for Dominican, but I do. So whenever I would walk into these accounts, people would go, "Hey, papi," right? And they would start talking Spanish to me. I didn't know Spanish at the time. I still don't know Spanish, but I can get by in Spanish. I can get by in the Spanish kitchen. I make it a rule to only speak Spanish whenever I'm in a Spanish establishment. Even if I don't know the words, I struggle. I make it a point to struggle with Spanish so that people know that I respect their culture. If they choose to speak English, then it's their choice, but I'm going to do my best to be respectful of their culture. So in moving to New York and getting here, I started to realize that I needed to respect the culture that was here, the culture that was established here, and realize that I'm a foreigner and I'm just as much a part of this culture as it is a part of me. But 7 years in, I started to realize that this isn't about me. It's more about New York as a whole. And the Dominican, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Island, Mexican, Ecuadorian, and all the rest of the Central American, lower North American countries and South American countries are very, very prevalent here. They're very prevalent, and they are the wheels behind the clockwork of what makes all the restaurants and what makes all the experiences happen. When you're talking about how something gets put up in a day, you're talking about the work ethic of a Hispanic person. You're not talking about anything that you can really match. I mean, I've seen Mexicans go into a house that was burned down on Monday. It is open on Wednesday. Like everything is done in 2 days because they work around the clock. I have such a deep respect for Hispanic culture and how rich it is, right? And so the Pomelo is because I feel at home whenever I'm in a Hispanic household, even though I'm not Hispanic. The Pomelo is a twist on a classic Mexican cocktail, which is the tequila grapefruit, but we're going to add a little bit of Aperol and a little bit of lime to make it New York. Okay. Aperol just makes things fancy. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with a stemless wine glass. Okay. Stemless wine. Get your fancy glass out for this one because it's really nice. It's a very simple cocktail too. You're going to build it right in the glass. You don't have to shake it. Pomelo starts with ice. And again, if you're going to be quarantined with somebody, be quarantined with somebody Hispanic. They know how to have fun. They know how to cook. They know how to have fun. They know how to make the best out of a situation. And that's kind of why I'm building this cocktail for them. But again, we're going to start out with some ice, some fresh ice. Okay. I like tequila. Everybody kind of has a bottle of Patron. Everybody kind of has a bottle of some kind of tequila. I'm partial to Hornitos. I like it. It's got kind of a bite. It's not the smoothest tequila, but it's not like the white girl tequila, which is like the George Clooney situation, Casamigos. It's still a tequila that can stand on its own. When you go into a tequila bar, right, you might find all these different kinds of tequilas that are from all over the world, and they've got like funny bottles and whatever. But Hornitos is going to be on their back. It's a tequila. Mid-grade. You don't need a fancy grade sipping tequila for this. This is a mid-grade tequila because we're going to add a bunch of stuff to it. But if you have more like Jose Cuervo or whatever, gold, that'll work too. It's going to have a little more bite. But Hornitos for me is just a very balanced tequila. They're reposado especially. So we're going to go 2 ounces of Hornitos. Okay. That's going to be a 4 count for anybody counting.
Somebody asked a question before you get to the next one. They said they couldn't see the label on the sparkling wine that you were using. What's the name of that?
Oh, that's Bel Air.
Bel Air. Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Bel Air. Got it. That is DJ Khaled. He's one of the ambassadors for it.
DJ Khaled, Ricky Rose, the whole Florida Maybach Music.
Got it.
Yeah, they're Bel Air, which is Diddy.
Okay.
Diddy is Bel Air.
Right. So this tequila, I have had tequila have other sides of my personality come out in the past. So yes. Is this tequila? I don't do tequila. Even if I am going to venture into hard alcohol land, which is not my territory, I stay away from tequila. I have thrown up and I have also become different on tequila, we'll say. So how does this particular tequila and this drink kind of even out the ramifications?
Well, this is 1 ounce of Aperol to start, but tequila is one of those things. Like it's very funny when I ask people like, oh, do you get drunk different kinds of ways or different kinds of spirits? And everybody has a story. Everybody's like, yeah, I don't fuck with tequila because nah. Or they say, I don't fuck with brown, I only fuck with white. Or I'm only a person that does this and this and this. I can't do that, that, and that because then I want to fight somebody. And I think it's deeper than that. Like, I think it just gets a little bit deeper because it really goes into how you drink stuff. Some people say they drink brown and they want to fight. Well, how are you drinking it? Are you around all your angry friends when you're drinking brown? Like, are you around the ratchet people that you roll with? And are you doing shots of brown? Because if you're shooting brown around angry people with Nuck as you buck going on the radio, yeah, you're going to fight. You're going to fight. That's what you're going to do. Tequila, same thing. Like, if you're in a situation where you're doing tequila shots, like, a lot of people do shots of tequila. Why? Because tequila, lime, shot, lime, shot, lime. 4 shots in, yeah, you're a different person because you just drank the equivalent of 3 bottles of champagne worth of alcohol. Like,
oof.
What you gonna do? Like, of course you're about to act a fool. And so, for me, as I understand it, and this is definitely not the popular opinion, but I feel like if you hydrate while you drink, who you are kind of stays intact.
Yes,
if you
I agree with that.
To not, and notice I'm still letting this drink sit because it's tequila and Aperol and ice. That's it. So that water is going to help this drink, like as it melts. But you just kind of hydrate as you go. Make sure you're drinking water. Make sure that you bottle of water or something, and your personality will stay intact. But if you take a shot of tequila and you listening to Hispanic music, and you're around some people that will bring that out of you, yeah, you're gonna be a different person. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna be. So right here, what we have is a 2 ounce of tequila, 1 ounce of Aperol. Okay, so 2 parts tequila, 1 part Aperol. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is add fresh grapefruit juice. This is like simply grapefruit. Stay away from Tropicana, stay away from Minute Maid, stay away from like grapefruit punch, stay away from all the grapefruit juice cocktails and all that. Like if it says grapefruit juice cocktail because it's Tropicana or whatever, that means it's got added sugar. You want to stay away from that. Grapefruit's already what it is. It's amazing as it is. Just do fresh grapefruit. Okay, so this is fresh grapefruit juice, fresh squeezed. It's going to keep very well. And this is what this is. We're going to do a 2 ounce of grapefruit juice. Okay. This is a 4 count of grapefruit juice. It's the same amount of tequila as grapefruit juice. Okay. Nice pink, pretty color. And we're going to do a little bit of lime juice. Where's my lime? Here. So this is my lime juice in a flask. And we're going to top this up with a little bit of lime. Again, half an ounce of lime juice. Not a lot of lime juice. Half an ounce. That's it. Good to go. What about the rest of the space in there, C's? Oh, you're going to top that up with ice. So you're going to add some more ice to the top. Again, I don't deal with big pieces.
I feel like there's so much alcohol. There's so much alcohol in this one. It's like, and it's tequila. I feel like it's very dangerous.
It's a very dangerous drink because you're not going to taste the alcohol in this. The apple and the grapefruit, you're going to stir this up. Okay. Give this a nice stir. But there's mostly ice in there. There's a lot of ice in that cup. See what I'm saying? I can tap the top of this and it doesn't go in because it's mostly ice. You want the ice to melt into water because this is more of a, it's more along the lines of a citrus punch than anything, right? But it is called a pomelo. And you're going to garnish this again with just a lime wedge. Okay.
Somebody just asked, what was before the grapefruit?
Before the grapefruit was Aperol.
Aperol.
So Aperol is an aperitif. It's the same thing you do with an Aperol spritz. Now, Aperol in this drink can be substituted for, if you don't have Aperol, you can substitute Aperol for any kind of a red thing that you have. If you have Campari, then you just did a tequila Negroni, basically. So you did a Pomelo Negroni if you have Campari instead of Apple. I also like to say red wine that you're never going to drink because it's not good. This is a red wine. I'm not going to show you the label that I got from a person who was like, hey, try my friend's wine. And I was like, sure. And I tried it and it wasn't good. So I didn't drink it. Right. But this red wine will go very well in this cocktail, believe it or not.
Interesting. Somebody also asked about grenadine. Would grenadine go with this as well?
Grenadine as a topper might do well, but you don't want to add a whole bunch of grenadine to anything because grenadine is very powerful. It's a very powerful. It's going to overpower the cocktail. If you do an ounce of grenadine, you're going to overpower the cocktail. It's going to taste like straight up grenadine. You see how that red wine just changed the color of that?
It did. I like that.
That is a red demi-sec, which is a little sweet, but yeah, very good.
Nice.
It's also very, it's because of the Aperol and because of the grapefruit, it doesn't have a lot of sugar. So people that are sugar conscious and don't want a lot of sugar in their drink, this is a drink for you because it's got a lot of flavor. It's got a lot of strength, but it doesn't have a lot of sugar. And it's more of a savory palate drink. Very much on the savory palate.
I love it. I love it. Nice. Nice. So run down the ingredients again.
So this right here, we started out with all the ice. Okay, you want a glass full of ice. We did a stemless wine glass on this, a regular wine glass, stemless wine glass, whichever one you want is going to do well with it. Start out with tequila. Whatever kind of tequila you have works. Silver, reposado, anejo, whatever you've got, tequila, right? You're going to start out with 2 ounces of tequila and all the ice. You're going to build this drink in the glass. You're going to add 1 ounce of either Aperol or Campari or some kind of red wine. It could be a Merlot, a Pinot Noir. It can be a red table wine. It doesn't really matter because you're going to mix it in. And you're kind of getting into the, what is that stuff called? Into the, what is it when you get wine and fruit and liquor? What's that shit called?
Oh, sangrias.
Sangria. You're kind of going into the sangria territory at this point. There you go. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No problem.
So you've got tequila and you've got Aperol or Campari or red wine, some sort of red something. And then you've got the same amount of fresh grapefruit juice added as tequila. So 2 parts tequila, 1 part red, 2 parts grapefruit juice. The grapefruit juice is not grapefruit juice from Tropicana or Minute Maid. It's not a grapefruit juice cocktail that's already got sugar added to it. It's fresh squeezed grapefruit juice from somebody's organic grocery store. And then as a final topper for a little bit more sour, right, you're going to add a dash, like a 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice. Again, no lime juice from a squeeze bottle, no lime juice that says real lime or any kind of lime juice from concentrate. You're going to ruin the cocktail if you do that because they add all kinds of crazy shit to keep that lime juice from turning into cake flour or some shit. So fresh lime juice as an end, and this is literally a dash. Like this bottle was completely full when I started. That's how much lime juice I had. Like just a solid dash of lime juice. You're gonna mix that together. You're gonna stir it with your bar spoon here, right? Just gonna get that to just marry well together. You're gonna garnish that with a lime wedge. In case it's not sour enough, somebody that you serve it to will be able to take the lime wedge, squeeze it, and yeah, they're good to go.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right. I think we're down to our final of the 5. Is that, am I right? Right?
That's the 5th.
Oh, that's the 5th. That's the 5th. So we have everything there. So a cool question that just came back in from Ebony was, did you touch on the range of palate? So like I said, when I was talking about the one that was akin to like an amaretto sour, and I like sour things, right? For each drink, what type of palate would they, marry with really well?
Okay. So we started out with the Chi-Chi. Okay. The Chi-Chi was Hennessy, it was passion fruit nectar, and it was a brown sugar simple syrup. Now you can do any kind of simple syrup you want, but the Chi-Chi with the Hennessy and the passion fruit and the simple syrup is definitely a sweet palate. Hennessy itself is inherently sweet because it starts from grapes. It doesn't start from corn, it doesn't start from rye, it doesn't start from anything. It starts from grapes. So it has an inherently sweet flavor to it to start with. Okay, so if you have a sweeter palate, you're going to start with the Chi-Chi, which is the Hennessy, the passion fruit, and the simple. And then you're going to add mint, which is like a freshness to it. But that's definitely for a sweeter palate. If somebody's like, oh, I like sweet things, Chi-Chi's for them. French 75. This is for a person that has a more savory, sour palate because you're going to use brut bubbles, right? Anybody that drinks like a brut champagne or a brut white, this is going to be an amazing drink for them. The French 75 utilizes bubbles, right? Champagne or Prosecco or any kind of a white bubble situation. It's also going to utilize lemon. So lemon is very sour. It's also going to utilize gin or vodka, both of which are really palate neutral. Like gin is herbaceous, vodka is not really, but they're very palate neutral. And you're going to add a dash of elderflower, which is sweet, but it's more complex than it is sweet. So the French 75 takes a person that has a brut bubble palate and turns it into more of a complex, sour, savory, complex, kind of a sweet kind of a situation. Not as sweet as a Chi-Chi, definitely more complex and definitely something that people are going to knock back with the quickness. The next cocktail on the list was the honeybee. The honeybee was Maker's Mark. It was lemon juice, and it was honey. Very simple. Very, very simple drink. It also utilized something called aquafaba, which is the garbanzo bean water. Again, you don't taste this. This is not a taste. You feel this in as a mouthfeel, but you don't get any of the flavor of that, if that makes any sense. So this is really like a back end ingredient. The honeybee is definitely for a sweet and sour palate. So if this person likes sweet and sour chicken, or like orange chicken, or if they like sweet and sour things that come as sweet and sour, the honeybee is definitely a wonderful way to do a twist on a whiskey sour. It's got vanilla notes from the bourbon. It's got honey notes from the honey. It's got lemon, obviously, from the lemon, and a really crisp and wonderful mouthfeel for people that are mouthfeel people, right? Some people like silky things on their tongue. Not saying you're you, but somebody does. So it's really
what? That turned left.
So it's a really great thing when, especially for my gentlemen that are listening, like if you're entertaining a guest and you want to kind of give an innuendo of something silky, right, for their mouth, or if you're cooking something that you want to pair with a whiskey sour, but you want like a really frothy, silky mouthfeel, the aquafaba is an awesome ingredient to go with that. And we finished that with a dash of Angostura bitters. The next one was the ginger julep. Now, the ginger julep doesn't really fit a palate per se. It is more of a fresh. It's more fresh than anything because it's got a lot of lime, it's got a lot of mint, it's got a lot of ice. So it's definitely something that you would do well with on a beach, something you would do well with in hot or warmer weather. It's definitely a very fresh cocktail because of the mint, the lime, the ice, and the bubbles, right? I topped it up with Fever Tree ginger beer. You can top it up with a very quality tonic, or if you're really fancy, with a bit of a champagne. But it's just going to give you a very fresh mouthfeel, and it's definitely going to hide whatever liquor you add, if that's cachaça, if that's vodka, if that's gin, if that's rum, if that's tequila. Whatever you're going to put in there in terms of a spirit is going to be hidden underneath that very fresh build. And that's the ginger julep. And the final one, the pomelo, is a very savory palate. Aperol is a very savory thing. When people do like Aperol spritzes and things like that, like they're not looking for sugar. They're looking for something that's complex and savory, but not necessarily sweet. So the pomelo, especially if you're using fresh squeezed grapefruit juice, you're not looking for a very sweet palate. This is something that's very, very savory palate. So it's a very juicy, very flavorful, very much savory drink. The tequila lends to agave, which has a sort of sweetness to it, but you're not going to notice that sweetness in this drink, especially if you add a dry red wine in addition to the Aperol or Campari or whatever other red thing you do. So.
Right. Nice. It's so funny. I think these people are ready for the conversation we're having next week about they're like, he's over here talking spicy. You got everybody excited, homie. Thank you so much. No, this is amazing.
Speaking of which, if you are a spicy person, okay, if you're a spicy person, you like red cayenne pepper, you can add cayenne pepper to the pomelo. You can add jalapeno to the pomelo. It'll both go very well. You can also add jalapeno, but not necessarily cayenne, to the chichi. Okay, so jalapeno goes well with the chichi. Jalapeno and cayenne pepper go well with the pomelo if you're a spicy person. So sweet and spicy, or savory and spicy. The other three, they're not going to do well with spicing anything, but those two are going to do very well with spicy.
Got it. Thank you so much, Caesar. We really, really, really appreciate this. So you don't know that I was going to do this, but you guys don't know out there, but today is Caesar's birthday. And he has elected to spend his birthday, part of his birthday, here with us today, and just super, super grateful to my friend and just like the person that you are. And I really, really appreciate you bringing your talents here. So I am asking, and I just posted it in the comments, to please tip the bartender. I have put his Cash App in the comments. So if you feel so inclined, send him a happy birthday message and a Cash App tip at Caesar Stovall. It is right there in the comments. You guys can find it out. We got all these happy birthday shout outs coming to you right now in the comments. So happy birthday, and hit that man's Cash App, $ Caesar Stovall. It is in the comments, and we will keep posting it to make sure that he gets some love for spending his birthday with us today and imparting like these stories, but also this knowledge. Like, I mean, I know you personally, so I know that like you and we're both Aries. Our birthday's a couple days apart. So it's like, we don't half-ass anything, right? Like no matter what phase of where we are in our life, we put our all into it. And it's just become even more evident, you know, even in knowing you, that, you know, this is something that you also put the knowledge base behind, and you're about to house all of these drinks. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, that second one, you can put that one right outside your door, and I'll be on the elevator in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes to come scoop my drink up. Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. So everybody's wishing you happy birthday. All the happy birthdays are in the comments right now. And again, his Cash App is $ Caesar Stovall. I posted it in the comments. I will keep posting it so that it's here even after you guys comment, and send him a happy birthday. And yeah, remember to tip your bartender.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had an amazing time. If anybody has any questions, please forward them to me. If you have some strange bottle of liquor that you really don't know what to do with, I know what to do with it. Please send me a question. Feel free to reach out on my social media, Facebook. I'm just Caesar Stovall. I don't have an Instagram or Snapchat, but just feel free.
And you are a tribe member. People can find you. You are a tribe member.
Please add me a tribe, at me, ask me a question, take a picture of the bottle, and if anything, I can direct you in the right direction of what would be a good way to do with the bottle. I know a lot of us have bars with bottles that we collect all over the world, and we just don't know what to do with these things. And so if you want to use that bottle in a party or something like that, please feel free. I am a resource, knowledge. Thank you so much, Evita, for having me. And I'm so grateful. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to you in 4 days.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to do well. So I'm going to make a cocktail with the bubbles and the flour and the lemon and everything, and you enjoy yourself for the rest of the day, okay?
Thank you. We appreciate you. Definitely, definitely. And for everybody in Tribe, you guys, this is what we're talking about. Thank you guys for filling out the survey that we sent out in the newsletter and then posted in the Tribe. We know that right now, the world is a fucking shit show, okay? And so we really just want to be able to bring levity and get your mind off of it for, I mean, we were on here for an hour and a half. I think yesterday I was like, yeah, let's keep it to like 45 minutes to an hour maximum, you know? But like to get everybody kind of out of the space that, you know, that we're in. And so it's very important. And we appreciate it so, so much when you guys fill out the forms, because we get these ideas of things to be able to produce for you guys, and us trying out new formats. Like even just this, what we're streaming on right now is a brand new software that we got our hands on from one of my mentors. And it's been amazing to have you guys so interactive and involved with the conversation. So if you guys like it, we love it. And we will definitely keep going with this. And this is the first. You guys know we have more content coming next week. Nadine, who has been super active in here, Dr. Nadine White Underwood, is going to be having our Corona conversation on Monday. We have our sex and Corona conversation next Wednesday. I'm doing real life EV stories about the day I got shit in my eye in India on Instagram. We got a lot going on. Eris, the chef, is coming through, and she's going to be cooking for us next week. There's so much, you guys. Thank you for taking a break with us. And again, thank you for giving us the information for this. I will definitely be posting again his Cash App. Again, happy birthday, Caesar. Cash App, $ Caesar Stovall. Tip the bartenders, y'all. It's just a good etiquette. All right. Love you all, Caesar. I appreciate you. I'll be up there in like 5. All right, y'all.
Thank you so much. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.